Hey guys, it's Chala and I'm back with the White Christmas blog hop for Scrap and Stamp. Today I'm going to be using this Tim Holtz Alterations, what is it here? It's the Holiday Greens mini die set, this glitter cardstock from Tonic, which is the sugar crystal, as well as some other shiny cardstock that I will link similar items to at my blog, and I'll link that down below. So I've laid out some of these dies here on that glitter cardstock, and I'm not sure which ones I want to use for my card yet. So I just kind of cut out a bunch to see what looks good. Now there is 11 dies in this die set, which is really cool. I like the versatility of these, and they're a great holiday scene builder. And I'm going to be die cutting that with my Gemini Junior. So I run that through, and then I've also used that metal shim as well, because this is a very detailed die set. So you can see there I've got such tiny little dies, but they cut out just beautifully when you're using that shim. Alright, so I'm going to just remove that magnetic piece, and I will start to remove all the little tiny pieces that I've die cut out, and I'll show you in a minute here which ones I go with. So there's a variety here. There's some pine looking ones, some holly, some kind of like poinsettia looking leaves, and I decided I wanted to go with the ones that have more of the berry look to them. So I narrowed it down to 3 in the beginning, and these were the 3 that I liked. I wanted to create sort of a wreath out of them, and I liked them, but I thought, you know, for simplicity's sake, I wanted to create really just a very simple, elegant card. I thought that the berry was the best one to go with. So then what I'll do is I will go ahead and cut a bunch of those berry ones out, and I'll just save the rest of those pieces for another card. So this is how I'm setting up my card. I have this shimmer cardstock, and I'll link to some similar ones that I use down below and over at my blog. And I just think it's a really nice subtle shine. And then I'm using the Nina Classic Crest Solar White cardstock, just a regular A2 size card. Later on I will actually alter this card a little bit. And then just this stitched circle die from Lawn Fawn, just to create a window and kind of the frame for our wreath. So I'm just lining these 2 pieces up. What I want to do is be able to send this through my die cut machine, and I want to be able to hopefully cut through both at once so that I get everything lined up. If it doesn't cut through both pieces at once, that's okay. At least I have an impression, so I know where to place the die when I run it through for the second time. So I'm just using this washi tape that I actually had from the last video I did with the foil glimmer. And I'm just kind of taping these 2 pieces together just so they don't slide around on me and that everything cuts out evenly. I'll just wrap that around the edges, and then I will put a little piece on the die itself just so that it sticks nicely. Okay, so I've run that through my Gemini Junior, and now I am just carefully removing the washi tape, and it actually cut beautifully through both that shimmer cardstock and that white Nina Solar Crest cardstock. So that made me really happy. I didn't have to run it through a second time, but even if I did, there would be enough of an impression on that second piece that I could just kind of nestle that die back in. So yay, that made me very happy that it cut through. Like I said again, if it just left the impression, I can then lay that die down and just kind of wiggle it. You'll kind of feel it wiggle into place, and then I can just run it through a second time. Okay, so now that I have the piece still taped together on one end, I want to leave it like that so I can use that tape as a hinge to, once I add the adhesive, to lay it back over nicely and everything will line up. I don't have to worry about fussing with anything, and that it'll line up perfectly. So I do have a little bit, you can see a little bit of the washi tape impression on there. I'm going to try and use this eraser here, this electric eraser, just to remove some of that adhesive. I didn't want to do it too much because it will actually remove some of that shimmer, and then I thought, you know what, I'm not going to worry about it because that's where I'm going to lay the die cut pieces over top, and hopefully you won't see it at all. So everything's all lined up beautifully, and now I can go ahead and add my adhesive. I'm just going to be using my tape runner on this one. If you're worried about it sticking or needing a stronger adhesive, you can definitely use Be Creative or your favorite liquid adhesive. But this, I just grabbed my good old trusty tape runner, and I'll just run that along to secure it to the card base. And I just want to quickly mention I am doing a giveaway for this blog hop. It is a set of the life-changing picket fence blending brushes. So make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe with respect to this video and my YouTube channel for your chance to win. I will announce the winner on December 15th on my blog and this YouTube channel. So make sure you go ahead, hit like, subscribe, and give me a comment. So again, you can see where that washi tape left some impressions. Once I get those die cuts laid on top, you won't be able to see it, so it won't be that noticeable. Now I'm just trying to figure out how I actually want to adhere down these delicate little die cut pieces. They are really gorgeous die cut out of that tonic sugar crystal glitter paper. I just love that. It's beautiful. And once I've got figured out how I'm going to lay them out, I'm going to go ahead and start adding my adhesive. Now I am just going to be using my Tombow multi glue to adhere these down, nothing fancy. I lay them out. In the beginning I cut a bunch out and I laid probably about 1, 2, 3, 4, about 6 to 8 of them down, and I thought, while it looks pretty, it looks full, I almost thought it looked a little too busy. So I ended up scaling it back, and I only used, I think, 4 of the die cuts that I actually cut out. And so that looks really pretty to me, but I thought almost it was too busy because I did want to add a word in the center of that circle. So I'll end up just using about 4 of them. So there's that Tombow mono glue that I was talking about. I just have it in this little bottle here with a thin applicator to make sure that I'm, just getting a little bit out at a time. I don't want too much to squish out. If it does squish out, it's going to leave a matte finish to it, so hopefully it won't be too noticeable. I didn't really see any places that I had the glue leave any marks or anything, so that made me very happy. I'm going to go ahead and speed up this process of me gluing these little die cut pieces down. I don't think you need to sit and watch all of that in real time. I really liked the simplicity of how this card was coming together. I thought it was really elegant. I liked the white on white look of the die cuts in that glitter paper, as well as that being on top of that little bit of a shimmer paper. I just thought that was really pretty and elegant. So as you can see here, I've pared it down just a bit. Like I said, I only used, I think it was just 4 of the die cuts in the end, and I really like how that looks. So pretty. Okay, so now from here what I want to do is, I was humming and hawing on how I was going to do this acetate piece. I could just go ahead and cut a piece of acetate, but I ended up having these EK Tool adhesive acetate little square sheets. You can use them for like little gift boxes, treat boxes. I had these on hand. I think I got them for, I want to say like 40 or 50 cents in the clearance aisle of Michael's, so I just thought I'd go ahead and use these. It was quicker, and that I wouldn't really have to worry about maybe adding a solid, like die cutting another piece to put on the back just to kind of hide my adhesive, because the adhesive on here was pretty light and it didn't show through too badly, so I decided to go with that. As well, you can also use your score tape to adhere that down. I did use the Sugar Script Big Joy die that I cut out of that tonic glitter paper as well. Originally I was going to layer a whole bunch together. In the end I just decided to use the one glitter piece, and then I was going to add a white another white die cut piece just on the back of the adhesive sheet, just so it would cover the adhesive through that acetate window. I really hope that makes sense, but you'll see here in a minute what I do. So I'm just adding that score tape to that sentiment, and then I will adhere that over top of that acetate sheet just so that it looks like it's floating in the center of that wreath. Alright, I'll jump ahead here just to how I adhered that acetate sheet. It already comes with that adhesive on it, and so I can lay it down right over top. Now, I'm not exactly sure what was going on. I don't think I got it as straight as I would have liked to, but once it was down, and I didn't want to pull it up or rip anything, so I just kind of have to let that go. But it looks really pretty, and I think it's going to work great for this floating sentiment. I already have the adhesive placed on here. I'll use the craft pick to remove that release paper. And I'm going to speed this up a bit for us. It's a bit time-consuming of a process here to remove all this release paper, but it's so worth it. I could have run this through maybe my little Xyron sticker maker. That might have worked well. If you have one of those, you can definitely do that. Sometimes I find if you don't burnish the sticker paper down well enough, it can leave little gummy bits, like say in the center of the O, so I didn't want to risk that on this project. So now that I have all that release paper off, I'm going to grab my reverse tweezers, which is such a handy tool to have. As you can see, when you're trying to lay it down with your fingers, my fingers were just big and kind of getting in the way, so I grab the tweezers and then I can use that to place the sentiment where I want it. Now I did fold up those little berries and stems just a little bit so I could tuck that sentiment underneath and get it exactly where I wanted it to go. And then once I got that placed, I can go ahead and place the little dot for the J. What is it? I think it's called a tittle. You can place the tittle down on top of the J. And then I think that looks just so pretty. I love how that is that white on white look and how it looks like that is floating over top. So I do see the adhesive showing through the back on that sentiment. So like I said, I went ahead and die cut the joy again from some white cardstock, and then I will just glue it on the back side here backwards to cover all that adhesive so it's just a smooth look. And I just lay that over top, and then that covers all of that adhesive that you can see through the window. Again, I didn't add any adhesive to the little berries and stems. When I glued them down around the outside of that circle, I just applied the glue where it would be sticking at the time, so I didn't have to worry about adhesive showing through for those berries. Again, I'm going to jump ahead here to just placing that last dot or the tittle over top of the J. And then we'll move on to how I actually kind of modified this card to make it a trifold card. When I closed it up here, I loved that beautiful look, and then I thought about the person probably putting the sentiment on the inside, and I wanted it to still show white, so that's where the trifold card came in. And as you can see here, I trimmed just like the very smallest amount off each edge of these A2 size cards, and that just allows me to nestle them in to each other nicely so that the card is that beautiful A2 size shape. Nothing is overhanging on either edge. I'll grab my score tape. I want to use a really strong adhesive to adhere both of these cards together just so that they do not come apart. Once I get this all lined up and adhered down, that finishes off our white Christmas themed Christmas card. I hope that you enjoyed this simple yet elegant trifold card that we created today. Just a reminder that we do have some great prizes that we're giving away. Scrap and Stamp is giving away a $50 gift certificate as well as a special surprise, I believe. So make sure that you comment on all the blogs. I will list the links to all the blog hop participants over on my blog. Please make sure that you also like, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel and this video for your chance to win those Picket Fence life-changing blender brushes. Thanks again so much for joining me today. Check out these other videos at the end of this video clip here, and have yourself a Merry Christmas, guys.